Welcome to Foundation Focus. I'm Tom Jones with the St. Lucie County Education Foundation. And in this program, we feature some of the programs throughout the year for the foundation. And we always bring in special guests. And today we have two very special guests. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Kevin Perry and Makeda Brome. So welcome to Foundation Focus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to state that, or say that Dr. Perry and Makeda are very dear friends of the foundation. They're both on the board of the foundation. And what I'd like to do today is talk about Night of the Stars. And just starting off with Dr. Perry. Dr. Perry is a cabinet level officer. You are the assistant to the superintendent. And I know it's a position that you've held for a number of years. And maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your career, and then we can talk a little bit about the Night of the Stars, which is one of the duties that you have taken on.
Great. Thank you for having me on Education Focus today, Mr. Jones. Yes, my name is Kevin Perry. I've been in this system for over 30 years now. Okay. Started as a band and choir director at Westwood High School, once a Panther, always a Panther. Went on to be the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools and a finalist for the State Teacher of the Year in '94. Became a teacher on special assignment after that, and then the assistant principal at Francis K. Sweet Elementary Magnet School. Then I had the wonderful privilege of being the founding principal of Fort Pierce Magnet School of the Arts, where academics and the arts go hand in hand. And from there, I moved to a district level position, being an executive director, an assistant to the superintendent, and now the assistant to the superintendent. Educated at Bethune-Cookman College, master's degree from the University of Illinois, and doctorate degree from the Florida Atlantic University, and have had an awesome time as an educator here in St. Lucie County, St. Lucie Public Schools.
So that's all you've done in your career, right?
That's all I've done.
That's amazing to me. Dr. Perry, you are a wonderful person. You're well liked here, and I said it before, but you're a true friend of the foundation.
Yes, sir.
You're always there. I pick up the phone, I call you, you always get back, and you love the children. It's all about the children.
Yes, speak to me of children all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, if there were no students, there would be no need for the teachers, so they're our first and foremost priority.
Exactly.
And now I'd like to welcome Makeda Brome. Makeda's our current Teacher of the Year, the 2020 Teacher of the Year. And Makeda, you are the assistant principal at Westwood Prep.
Yes.
And you and I had the privilege of working together earlier this morning on a program. And I want to welcome you to the show. And maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I'm a transplant to St. Lucie County. My dad retired here once I graduated high school. So I did my bachelor's at Indian River State College. I was in the first cohort of bachelor's programs that they put out with education. And I began my career at Lincoln Park Academy. So I worked at Lincoln Park Academy for 8 years as a math teacher. And then I worked at Fort Pierce Central, came back to Lincoln Park Academy, and the last 2 years I was math coach at Fort Pierce Westwood Academy, with the new name. And this year, it's my first year as the assistant principal at Fort Pierce Westwood Academy.
That's terrific. You know, when we first met, it was the surprise visit last year.
Yes.
And you were teaching your students, you had the whiteboard and all this was going on. And the students had these little smaller whiteboards that were doing all this math. And as they were going through the surprise, I kind of leaned over and looked and I went, oh my goodness, I have no idea what's going on there. So I said to one of the students, the answer is really 2.8. She had like 2.73. She said, no, it's not. You know, I said, okay, you know. So anyway, thank you very much for being our guest today, and I really appreciate it. Hey, let's talk about Night of the Stars. This is, for me, one of the best celebrations during the school year. It's my personal favorite, and it's all about really recognizing excellence in the school district. And actually written in the charter of the foundation says, you know, to support the children and to support the community, but it also says right in there to recognize excellence in the school district. And Dr. Perry, I think the Night of the Stars has been going on now for, what, 30 years?
It's a little bit over 30 years,
okay.
But this year, as the Night of the Stars program, I should say, but this year we would recognize the 40th person to be named the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools.
40 years. That is significant.
Yes.
And here at the district office, there's like a Hall of Fame, okay? There's all the pictures are there. and I'm not sure if they go back 40 years, but they go back.
They do.
They do.
They
go
do.
back 40 years.
All 40 of us are on the wall.
Okay.
But the
that's
cool part, Mr. Jones, about the Night of the Stars, it's not just about classroom teachers. We also recognize the Distinguished Minority Educator of the Year, the Outstanding First Year Teacher of the Year, and I'm sure we both remember our very first year of teaching. We wanted to pull hair. That's actually when I got gray hair, okay, that first year of teaching. And we recognize the School-Related Employee of the Year. In addition, we also recognize the Outstanding Principal of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools and the Assistant Principal of the Year. So we have 6 different categories. The cool part about it is education is all about children. So we have many students that assist with bringing the program to life, performing, helping welcome our guests, being ambassadors for education with us that night as we celebrate those that do so much for them each and every day.
You know, one of the fun parts for the foundation is we have the honor of sponsoring this. So, you know, it's one of my easiest sells because I go out to the community and I talk about the programming and all. And when I start talking about the Teacher of the Year and Distinguished Minority of the Year, I always have a waiting list of people that want to support these various categories. So for year after year, and I'll talk about it later in the program, we've had the same sponsors only because they want to stay there. You know, they don't want to move. But I've got others that are pushing in, kind of wrapping around, you know. So it's really a great honor for us as a foundation to recognize excellence and to support the school district. And now we're celebrating our 30th year, okay, this year. We were chartered in May of 1990. So it looks like this is one of our earliest programs. And the reason I say looks like it, we lost a lot of our historical records in the original hurricane, Francis and Jean, around that time. We had an earlier flood, and of course we had the flood with Irma. But in the earlier flood, a lot of our records at that time were paper-based, and we lost a lot of that history. But I'm pretty sure going back that it was one of our earliest programs because it's written right into the charter. And I know the foundation got up and running very quickly in 1990 and 1992. So this is one of our absolutely earliest celebrations.
Well, we're excited that the foundation continues to support education, but more so those wonderful partners that have partnered with the foundation to support teachers and to support everything that we're doing for our students as we continue to be a district on the rise. We're a B district, our 96.8 graduation rate for our students, which is extremely high, but we're not finished yet. So we appreciate all of their support.
Yeah, now we're a high B district, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Right on the cusp.
Knocking
right?
down that door.
Right, knocking down
and we're
that
going to
door.
knock that door wide open.
Absolutely. I know there's a lot going on here. The thing that I noticed, because I'm very lucky to be part of the, not part of the staff, but part of the, I have my office here, okay? And there's a real sense of urgency. There's a lot of things happening. The metrics, I think, are getting better and better. And that's the other thing, too. The school district is very metric-oriented. You know, they're watching that, and they're reaching out to the public to help shape the funding portion of it. So it's just getting better and better all the time. Hey, let's talk about the actual Night of the Stars. This celebration is sort of like the Academy Awards, you know, and it's televised by WLX-TV, and we have, and actually it's held at Lincoln Park Academy. So Dr. Perry, tell us a little bit about how it's organized and what it looks like in terms of the actual program.
You are exactly right. It is actually patterned after the Academy Awards, and everything that you would see in the Academy Awards program, you will see here in the Night of the Stars. You have the video footage of the finalists for each category. You have a host and a hostess that try to be funny and move the show along. You might have an opening production number where they may sing and or dance. Who knows what they'll do this year? In addition to that, you have many guest spots or performances. Again, just like the Academy Awards, but our guest spots for performers are students. You hear the drum roll and the wonderful announcement of who's the new Teacher of the Year, like we did last year for Ms. Brome, or the Distinguished Minority Educator of the Year. And it's just a fun-filled couple of hours of entertainment and celebrating one of the best professions that we all know and the one that we love the most.
It's a great celebration.
And Tom, I have to say, it feels like the Oscars. You buy your dress, you know, your long dress, You make up, you're made up, you get your hair done, but you are treated like a star. There's a red carpet when you're doing the VIP reception, and everyone just makes you feel like you are a star. And sometimes education can be a hard job in itself, and it's wonderful to feel appreciated and to have that chance to put on your best dress and just celebrate with other colleagues all the great things that everyone is doing across the county to support our students.
You know, there's no doubt it's a special celebration, and Lincoln Park Academy has been a great host for us for many, many years. The only regret I have is that we can't get 2,000 people in the auditorium, because Dr. Perry, I think it caps in about 900.
Close to 900, just a tad more,
right,
yes.
A tad more, and every year we kind of bust the seams a little bit, you know. And I would love someday to figure out how we could, maybe it's through telecasting or whatever, to bring in the public more, because the school district, you know, it's that recognition. And once you go there, you say it's so special. Once you're there and you realize the number of teaching professionals and the educators and the staff that are being recognized, and the amount of work that's being done by these individuals, and you hear the stories and you learn the history of it, it's just amazing. And I don't think that story really goes out to the public as much. It's not a fault of anything. It's a fault really of the fact that we only have so much space, you know. So it's a great celebration. Makeda, let's talk about it from your standpoint. Now, this is the end point of a long process, okay? And it starts with early on. Dr. Perry is very involved in this, where we have this surprise patrol. So there's a whole host of activities. Maybe we'll switch a little bit of gears. Tell us about the background. What's happening to get to these finalists?
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah. And then,
I'm sure Makeda can also jump in here. What happens is every school site chooses a Teacher of the Year representative. So all 40 of our sites will have a person that's known as the Teacher of the Year for that school, or the Distinguished Minority Educator School-Related Employee of the Year. And if they have a first-year teacher, it could be the first-year teacher. So there's a selection process that's based at the school. All of those packets are then, application packets are then funneled to my office. We have a team that comes in and goes through all of them with a fine-tooth comb to get down to the winner for the Outstanding First-Year Teacher and Distinguished Minority Educator. And then we choose a finalist, one from each of our 3 zones, that will represent the School-Related Employee category and the Teacher of the Year category. The School-Related Employee of the Year finalists then come in for another interview with a different team of people. And of course, before that, the prize patrol goes out with balloons and candy, celebrating and shocking them at their workplace as they're working with students. To recognize and let everyone know that they are one of the finalists. And then we do the same thing for the Teacher of the Year. We interrupted Makeda's, was it an algebra class? Class last year. And she's at the board like, wow, these people walking in my room with balloons, and the superintendent, board members, sponsors, partners of the foundation. We all, probably about 25 or 30 of us, caravan to make that wonderful announcement. After that announcement is done, then another team goes out to watch the teacher teach, to interview the teacher, to interview her students, interview the administration, faculty, and then we also talk to some community members as well. So it's like 5 steps to that final process. In addition to the original packet that they completed the packet that will go to the state, which is even more extensive with some specific criteria regarding data, regarding videotaping and that kind of thing. And I'm sure Makeda can add on to that, because we have had some people to become finalists from our district, and we've also had a few persons that have been selected as the Teacher of the Year for the state of Florida. So we know that we're in one of the best and brightest districts.
And I can say with the interview process, I mean, it seems like a strenuous process, but the one thing I loved about the process is a lot of teachers are humble. You know, we put in the work because we love our students and we want them to achieve their best, but this process really gives you a chance to shine and to brag on yourself without being prideful. I realized all the things I had done. I didn't realize I had done so many things and participated in so many professional developments, helped so many teachers and even my school, until I had to sit down and write questions about, well, what does the data show, and how do you support your school, and how do you support your district? So while can be a nerve-wracking process, as I'm sure it was for the 3 finalists that we just performed all of these things on, but it is a time to really shine and to know that you're appreciated, and that St. Lucie County Public Schools invests in teachers, and they really want to celebrate all of the excellent things that are going on in the classroom with all educators.
It's quite a process. So that process really selects the cream of the crop. It really does, genuinely. It does.
Yes, it
And we
does.
have 2 of them right here, Teachers of the Years. That's terrific. So congratulations to you and Dr.
Thank you.
Perry. Thank you for all of the support that you have given. So let's talk about today's, or the Night of the Stars that's coming up. It's on Saturday, February the 6th. Do I have it right? No?
February, what is it?
The 8th.
February the 8th.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I got the date wrong. So
Yeah, it's
February-
all running together.
Right,
We've been
I
at
know.
it for a while.
Saturday, February the 8th, and it starts off with the VIP reception. That's at 5 o'clock, and then we move into the ceremony. That's promptly at 6 o'clock. I know one thing: Dr. Perry keeps it right on time. Okay, and everyone's coming in, and then the program begins. So it's and it's about what, an hour and a half.
Well, it really is a little bit over 2 hours
2
by
hours,
the time we
okay.
celebrate all 6 of those categories. And you know how you have to have the time to move them to staging areas and, of course, celebrate the students that are performing. It takes us a little over 2 hours, not much. But, you know, 2 hours for these dedicated educators, we can invest that.
Oh, absolutely,
They're
for
the
sure.
brightest and the best. And this is the one night that we set aside to do nothing but honor them
Yes.
for the jobs that they're doing with and for children. And of course, our community.
So this program is airing in early February, and so we just have a few days for the new Night of the Stars. So we've already gone through the selection process. Your term, is that what you call it? Your reigning is just about over, but it's not completely over, because you know you're going to be still involved at a very high level with all of the things in the school district and all. But
Yes.
you have been a breath of fresh air for the school, for the foundation board as well.
Thank you.
When the Teacher of the Year is named and is known, we welcome them on to the board for a year, and all of them have been very, very involved over their term. But you have been very especially involved. In fact, you reached out to me and said you'd like to stay on the board. And I
Yes.
want to thank you very much for that. So I'm going to put your name in nomination soon to be a
Thank you.
permanent board member, and I think it'll be a good compliment to help Dr. Perry, because Dr. Perry is our representative, okay, for the superintendent. And I know he has so many duties and he's always running around, but Dr. Perry, thank you for all of your support.
I'd love to pass some of them on to me.
So really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great night. We could not make this happen without our sponsorships. I'm blessed with a group of businesses and organizations that just love the foundation, love the public school district. So today we have Mid-Florida Credit Union, which is our sponsorship for the Teacher of the Year Award. And Mid-Florida, you know, part of my job is to go out to the marketplace and kind of tell the story and kind of ask people if they want to sponsor. But every once in a while you get lucky and somebody calls you up. And the phone rang one day, and it was Shrita Walker. Said, you know, I'm the new branch manager of an office we're building in St. Lucie County for Mid-Florida. And I hadn't heard the name because they're really out of the market. She said, I'd love to stop in and kind of talk. We said, sure, come on in. And she said, you know what, we started out as a teachers credit union, and our heart is with the teachers. And so she said, we'd love to sponsor the Teacher of the Year Award. And I said, great, you're in. So she did that. And then she said, you know, part of the sponsorship is we actually write a check for $5,000 personally to the Teacher of the Year. And that was a game changer for us.
I bet Makeda enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that
So that check is
$5,000.
written to you, right? So we used to give checks for a lot smaller amount, but it was more of a recognition. But they stepped up, and so they've done that. And they also provide a check to the SREY, the School-Related Employee of the Year, for $2,500. So Mid-Florida's done a terrific job. They're a great organization. Then we have Kaiser University, which always wants the Distinguished Minority Educator of the Year. For the 5 years I've been with the foundation, that's theirs. Leslie Kristoff, the campus president in Port St. Lucie, always calls me, and I still have that spot. I said, yes, you do. And she provided last year a check to the winner as well. Then we have Remnant Construction Corporation, a local Fort Pierce company that's always a sponsor, in Seacoast Bank. So they're always there. And then we have the other organizations or companies that kind of help out. Publix, okay, for, oh my goodness, I'm going to tell you, it's got to be 20 years. Publix always underwrites the Night of the Stars, and they're the ones that provide the base funding for the VIP reception. And this year, the VIP reception is going to be a little bit different. It used to be more of a meal, but now it's going to be more sweets and all. But the whole idea is to have all of the honorees to come on in and recognize them, and also getting prepped for the actual event.
Well, this also gives them, the VIP reception also gives them an opportunity to meet and mingle with colleagues from all across the districts. You know, when we're in our school sites, it's kind of hard for us to get from one end of the district to the other. But of course, we know some people that we've met along the way through a training or something like that. So it gives us an opportunity to just be with our family members and celebrate as well.
And can I say that one of the most amazing things about this journey as Teacher of the Year is building relationships with other teachers within the county. Like Dr. Perry said, you don't realize who's all in other schools, you know, and what are they doing unless you see them in passing or you know somebody that knows them. But that is amazing, to build relationships, to see that there are excellent teachers everywhere. And even as the representative for St. Lucie County for the state, I've got to meet all of the Teachers of the Year for every county. So it's good to know that good educators are everywhere, and we're all in this to not only build up students, but to build up this career and this profession so other people can come in and we can support them to become better teachers also.
Well said. Thank you very much. You know, one of the benefits for me is that when I get to work with the Teacher of the Year and the other categories, those individuals are friends. Like Jeff Johnson and I talk all the time, and Samantha Lamora, she's always calling me up, and we're just talking. And so we stay together, and they all become really true friends of the foundation. So now, you know, we have a cadre of professionals that understands what the foundation does and supports them, and then we also support them as well. So thank you very much. It's really great. I'm looking forward to it, Dr. Perry. I'm all geared up, ready to go, you know, and so I want to thank all of you for being here, and I just wanted to end it with a little bit of a commercial if I could. This is also scholarship season, okay?
Yes. Yes.
So we just opened up our scholarships to our graduating seniors on Monday, and it's been a busy year in terms of getting donors. So this year we have over 20 donors, and we're probably going to award about 70 scholarships. So there's a lot of money on the table. I had a gentleman come up to me just a couple of weeks ago, and he says, Tom, and he was a very successful businessman in Fort Pierce, and he says, Tom, you might not know this, he said, but I was a struggling student, and he said, my grades weren't all that good, but when I graduated, he said, you know, I managed to get to college, and it changed my life, and I was able to be a business person. He said, I want to fund a scholarship, almost like a second chance scholarship, to a student that wants to go to college. Maybe their GPA is not as great, or maybe they haven't been involved in some of the programs as you should. But I want to reach out to a student and encourage them to unlock that potential. So we have another, so that's a whole other category. We have academic excellence. We have children of need. But now we have another category with students that we just want to give them that second chance, you know?
That's awesome.
And so that's awesome. So anyway, so this year we have a lot of scholarships. We have an automated system today so that you apply once, the system recognizes all of the attributes, and it goes through it, and then it pre-selects what scholarships you might be qualified for. And then at the actual event in May, we actually recognize each person. And so I'm thinking we're going to award it between 50, 60, or maybe even 70 scholarships. And also, as a public service, we publish a guide. Okay, it's called the Scholarship Guide. Just go on our website, efslc.org, and you can download a guide. And the guide is, as best as we can, we keep it current on our knowledge of all the other scholarships that we're aware that are out there that maybe are not applied through our system, but we want the students to know about them. So we're a resource for the students, but I'm really proud this year that we have a lot more scholarships out there. And actually last year, probably the first time in my memory, a couple of scholarships went, they were never funded. I mean, they were funded, but we didn't have any students apply for them. So I want to encourage all of the parents out there and all the grandparents, if you have a child that's graduating from St. Lucie Public Schools, encourage them to go online. This morning I was handing out these little pamphlets to all the seniors, or go online, just apply once, and we will filter through that, and we have a lot of scholarships to give. So this is turning out to be a terrific year. The economy is good. The school district is really chugging away on all cylinders. And I just want to thank all of you, the two of our shining stars in the school district, for all of the support of our children and all of the support of the foundation.
I don't think I can speak for music teachers, but we also want to thank the foundation because they also provide teacher grants.
Yes.
And I'm a part of an organization with teachers that received some of those grants that help us bring in outsized additional activities for our music students. So we want to thank the foundation and the supporters of those grants for those teacher grants that are made available every year.
Yeah, and I know some of my teachers have received those grants also, and we're very gracious and grateful for those grants. And thank you for coming out today and sharing with our students that these scholarships are available, and many of them were surprised to know that they're not just for IRC, even though if they choose to use it there, but they can take those scholarships everywhere.
Absolutely, and they're good for 2 years. So once you've earned it, we save them for 2 years. One of the things that we do through our grants is we impact about 3,000 children every year, and we award the grants to about 50 teachers and classrooms and schools and all. And the state of Florida provides a matching grant opportunity, so some of that money comes from the state of Florida. And last year we were able to award really a record for us of $71,000, but that was half of the amount of money that the state put on the table. So next year I want to raise the full $70,000, put it on the table, double it to $140,000, and just have that many more programs that we can offer. And maybe the 3,000 becomes 6,000, and then 10,000, and on and on. And we will get there. I mean, as a team, as a group, we will get there for sure. And it's a labor of love for me. I say that a lot, but it's generally a labor of love for me. And it's a privilege to work with all of you. It's really a real privilege. So thank you very much.
Thank
you.
And folks, we'll see you at our next program. Thank you.